Western Kentucky. They lead at 5-0 in the third. Camden Ross with an opposite field home run.
How in the world did Jack Bennett make that play?
Bigger in Texas, Hilltopper baseball continues its historic season after a series win over top 25 Dallas Baptist.
And Ryan Weidman and the Red Hot Baseball Tops are taking their winning ways down to Lynchburg for a chance to extinguish the Liberty Flames.
Plus, basketball season may be over, but head coach Hank Polona is clocking full-time shifts on the recruiting trail.
Hear about WKU men's basketball's new additions to the roster from the transfer portal and more next on The Extra Point.
Looks to break the tackle, and he breaks the end zone.
And we'll keep it on the ground with Wales. Not only will he get the first down, he'll get the touchdown and the championship.
Use it for Rogers for three for the win. Western Kentucky doesn't break.
The grass is red in Kentucky. Holy moly!
The Hilltoppers are champions of Conference USA.
Welcome in to Studio 2, the home of The Extra Point. I'm Alec Fouch.
And I'm Tyler Fernandez. Our top story this week takes us inside EA Dill Arena, where head coach Hank Polona announced the signing of transfer Cam Hafner, and this is what he had to say about the new guard. Cam is a competitor with an elite ability to shoot the ball. He is a complete guard with great experience competing at a high level. We wanted to improve our shooting from three-point range, and Cam is a great start to making that happen. So this is something that WKU desperately needed, and they got it with him.
Absolutely. Cam Hafner, coming out of Evansville, was a very, very efficient shooter for the Purple Aces. He averaged 12.7 points per game on 46% from the field, including 37% from behind the arc. So it'll be very, very nice for Coach Polona to have an addition of a guard who can shoot the rock.
Yeah, that's huge because three-point shooting has always been the name of the game for this Hilltopper basketball team. But that's not the only thing that Coach Polona got in the transfer portal. Let's move on to another guy that is 6'8" and is very solid at basketball as well, and that is Louis Simona from Stonehill College.
Never have heard of Stonehill College in my life, Tyler.
That's in Connecticut, actually, where Coach Polona originally was from. But he averaged a little over 13 points per game, very efficient shooting from both the field and from three-point land. He had a career-high 33 points against Lemoyne College, so that is huge for this Hilltopper basketball team to get size on the floor and get guys that can score the basketball at an efficient rate.
Absolutely. Having a guy like him who is 6'8" can really, really stretch the floor, and having a big man who can shoot provides more opportunities for your smaller guys to get points and assists all across the board. But speaking of big guys, another transfer to talk about coming in from McNeese State. No, it is not the manager, Amir Khan. It is Bryant Celebonge. He averaged 3.7 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, third on the team. Obviously, he's a guy who's going to look to get more playing time with this transfer, but one thing you have to point out is his high field goal percentage, 63.6. He is going to be very efficient on the block.
Yeah, and this is a guy that, once again, another stretch big that can play efficient basketball. If he just gets more playing time and he gets the opportunities, don't let those numbers fool you because he probably got like 6 to 10 minutes every single game. So don't freak out about that, especially if he doesn't average a whole lot. But let's get away from the veterans and let's go to the young bucks that are coming to the Hill their freshman year. And let's start with Armello Boone from Woodford County. Led the team in both points and in rebounds, so he is an all-around elite scorer as well, shooting the ball very efficiently, a little over 29% from three and a little over 42% from the field.
And that three-point percentage there is a little misleading. It may seem low, but he was shooting the rock like nobody's business. Every time he gets the ball, he's letting it fly. So that's just due to the high amount of shots he's going to take, and that's going to be good to have a guy who can be your main shooter, a guy you can get the ball to every play, every chance he gets, and he is going to be able to shoot the rock from anywhere on the floor.
Yeah, and let's head down to the final one in Lawson Rice from Butler County High School. The 6'6" guard, averaging 18 points and a little close to 11 rebounds a game, and averaging a double-double. You normally don't see that very often, but this guy can shoot the ball, and it looks so effortless when he shoots the ball, and plus when he drives as well. He's very explosive for a guy his size.
That's right, a fantastic score, averaging that double-double. But now, moving on to Lady Topper basketball. Big news came out this week on junior guard Josie Gilvin announcing her commitment to the University of Kentucky. And I just can't believe what I'm seeing. I mean, I was a Kentucky fan growing up, but this just feels a little disheartening.
Yeah. You want what I say as a WKU basketball fan? I need the camera on too, please. Need the camera on too. I got 3 words actually. Oh, come on! I mean, seriously. Hey, look, hate to see her go, but at some point it was going to happen because obviously with the world of college basketball and NIL, you knew something like this was going to happen. But Josie overall was a very solid basketball player, especially this season because she was very efficient shooting the ball. But I think another thing that doesn't get talked about was her defense this past season. It was unbelievable just to watch her play defense. Like, even though she's 6 foot, she can cover a lot of ground and cause trouble for the opposition.
That's right, and Kentucky women's head coach Kenny Brooks obviously loved what he saw with her absolutely stratospheric improvements this past season, but she is not going to be the only person leaving the Hilltoppers. Destiny Salary and Alexis Mead have graduated. Gilvin obviously going to Kentucky, and Acacia Hayes, they are going to be missing their point guard along with Mackenzie Chatfield.
Well, I think another thing too that you have to look at this graphic when it comes to the notable departures is pretty much excluding Destiny Salary. That is 4 out of the 5 starters that are going to be gone from the Lady Topper basketball. Because Alexis Mead, like you mentioned, out of eligibility. Destiny Salary out of eligibility. Josie obviously going to Kentucky, and then you got Acacia Hayes also in the transfer portal. So that's 4 out of the 5 starters. So there's going to be some holes to fill for head coach Greg Collins and this Lady Topper team.
That's right, but coming up, see how the Hilltopper baseball team claimed the victory in their biggest series of the season so far.
And hear from head coach Mark Reardon as they get set to take on more than a worthy CUSA opponent.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents
Sorry about my
opened
stutters
their
there.
hearts
You're good.
and home to me.
Were they quick
My
on the
parents cooked
quotes
my
graphic?
favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take
Yeah,
me
it was a
trips I
volleyball
never
instead of
thought
a-
I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that.
Well, when we
suitcase.
were running it,
My
there was
parents
no
aren't
image.
perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Okay. Or maybe I just forgot to put King in there.
It's all right.
Is my mic so loud? I can hear myself. I can hear myself. I can hear myself right now.
We can hear ourselves.
Hey, make sure their mics are out. They can hear themselves.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
Okay.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Welcome back to the Extra Point. Here's our first headline for WKU baseball. The Tops are bigger in Texas. A big series win against Dallas Baptist, and WKU is now entering national prominence, Tyler.
Yes, they are indeed. And taking a look at the stats from the series against Dallas Baptist, it was glorious to watch, especially in Game 2, where they run-ruled DBU 11-0. The first time DBU has been run-ruled at home since 2014, when Evansville did it. And they batted .485 in Game 2. Second straight year that the Hilltoppers have won the baseball series against Dallas Baptist. And Camden Ross was also a big impact too. Hit that 3-run home run in the third inning in Game 1, which proved to be the difference in the Tops 4-3 Game 1 victory. This was a WKU team that obviously going into that week, coming off of a tough loss against Vanderbilt, but then all of a sudden they just started catching fire. They were able to show that they can compete and beat some of the best teams, not only in Conference USA, but also in the top 25 as well. I was very impressed with what I saw from WKU against Dallas Baptist.
That's right, Tyler, and it seems that the Tops are getting a little bit of national recognition now. Number 25 in 4 out of the 5 major baseball polls. It is very, very fantastic to see what Coach Mark Reardon has geared this team up to this point in the season. But there was one player who stuck out like a sore thumb for the Tops in this series against DBU, and that was Dawson Hall.
Yeah, Bowling Green's very own Dawson Hall, Conference USA Pitcher of the Week. He allowed no runs, no walks either. And he threw 56 strikes on 71 pitches. That is impressive.
He was absolutely shoving. I mean, it is impressive to watch this man work on the mound. Now, moving along, Tyler.
Yeah, let's talk about Tuesday's matchup against Southern Indiana. Now, one of the most important things that stood out to me, obviously, the final score obviously wasn't what a lot of people thought it was going to be, but at the same time, WKU was playing their backups. But I do want to talk about one thing. 11-run fourth inning.
Unbelievable, Tyler. Unbelievable the way the Tops offense was rolling early on in this one. They batted through the order. All 9 starters got an RBI, and that was, I believe, 10 RBIs in the inning. 6 stolen bases in this one. One player had 3 stolen bases himself. It was a very impressive showing against a relatively formidable foe that brought it back towards the end.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. Southern Indiana is no slouch. Like, they're a really good baseball team, but WKU just had all the answers, and they're still undefeated at home. 22-0 this season at Nick Dennis Field, so that is an impressive feat to say the least. But there is one player that we definitely need to highlight as you see that man making that catch right there, and his name is Carlos Vasquez.
We'll talk about him further later on in the show, but he came out swinging a home run on the very first pitch in the bottom of the first. He scored 2 runs himself and had 2 great catches in his, I believe it was his first start in left field, knowing that that's not his natural position. It was a very impressive performance.
But I like what Coach Reardon's doing here. You want to give opportunities for guys that are normally not comfortable playing their respective position and now putting them out there. And he ended up doing really well in left field. He was catching web gems left and right. It was just unbelievable to see and beautiful to watch, I might add. He'll be coming up later on in the show, but first let's hear from head coach Mark Reardon on how his squad is trending into national headlines.
Top 25 ranking. It's nice to always be recognized. You know, we're in our 3rd year, and you know, Todd Stewart has always told me, you know, our first year was year 0, and you're at ground zero, and it's year 0. Like, do what you need to do. Year 2 was basically year 1, so in theory, for Todd Stewart, this is year 2, right? You know, we're getting noticed, and we're doing some, you know, I've always said trending upwards, and we're doing some things that haven't been done here for a while, and we're just trying to leave it better than how we found it.
Toppers' next series against Liberty.
Yeah, Liberty is a very, very good baseball team. They do a really good job of protecting the home field. They're 17-4 on the season at home, and Liberty is where the Conference USA baseball tournament will be, but that's another conversation for another day. They have a very impressive record. They've done really well so far in conference play, 5-4, and they're tied for 3rd in Conference USA standings, and they swept WKU's rival in MTSU, so that is definitely a good sign to see there for Liberty because their batting average may not look great, but they have power bats everywhere, and their pitching is solid, number 2 in the conference.
That's right. That sweep they had against Middle Tennessee State comes off a bit of a losing streak, a couple losses against Lipscomb, so they are getting back on the right track. It's going to be interesting to see how the Tops prepare to go into Lynchburg, considering the only losses Liberty has taken at home was against Xavier and New Mexico State. Very, very good teams. It's going to be a genuine challenge for the Tops. Tyler, what are the keys to victory for the Hilltopper baseball squad?
Well, I think one of the most important things you have to be aware of is do not let Tanner Marsh get on base. You always cannot allow that. He's one of the best hitters. Same with Jackson Sorensen. Pitching must be very, very solid. I think for all 9 guys for Liberty, because you never know, one guy's going to have a great day. And they have to attack the pitching staff early on Liberty. For WKU's bats need to attack the pitching staff early of Liberty because they're not deep in the bullpen.
No,
so
they are not.
They have to be ready to just go right at them.
That's right, and they have very, very high on-base percentage in the meat of their lineup. Like we said, Jackson Sorensen, this guy is getting walks, getting on base. That is his job, and he does it well. But up next, see how Erica Hogue claimed Player of the Week honors in Conference USA in a huge series victory.
Can the Tops and Macy Masters ride the hot streak as they prepare for the 100 miles of softball hate against MTSU? Find out after the break.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here.
Wait.
What?
I can't drive.
Why?
My.
Oh.
Welcome back to the Extra Point. It's time to talk about some Hilltopper softball, Tyler.
That's right, Alec. But first, let's dive into the Tops series win against Kennesaw State. So what stood out to you in the Tops performance?
Yes, they took a commanding 2-1 series victory. The only loss they took in the last game was 2 hits allowed by Rylan Smith. Obviously, 1 run led up in a 1-0 loss. That is tough, but pitching staff allowed 3 runs all series, and they combined for 14 strikeouts. That is unbelievable.
Well, I think another thing, too, you have to point out in that is in Game 3, only 3 total combined hits between the Hilltoppers and the Owls, in which obviously it resulted in that only run of that ball game being scored. But WKU has just been getting better and better as the season has gone on. It's going to be very important because the Tops do host the Conference USA softball tournament this year. But one of the players I want to highlight, and you can see that swing right there as it leaves the yard, that's Macy Masters. And no, she was not only in Georgia not just to watch the Augusta Nationals, but she was homering everywhere. She hit it onto the tennis courts twice, had 5 RBI. She was perfect, 3 for 3, responsible for the Tops 3 of their 9 hits.
That is right. She is the bona fide leader of this squad. It's pretty obvious when you go and watch a game. She's the most important player on this team, and it would be a very, very tough squad if she was not in the lineup every day.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. This would be a different team, and I don't think WK would have the record that they would have if it were not for Macy Masters. And the Virginia Tech transfer has just been so impressive to watch. She is very efficient at the plate, so I'm very excited to see what she can do more as this conference season wears on.
Yes, it'll be very, very important for her to play good as we near the postseason for the Tops. They want to make it back to the Conference USA championship game.
100%. Let's head on down to the 100 miles of hateful rivalry week as the Hilltoppers take on MTSU. Alec, scouting report time. What do you got on the Blue Raiders?
Well, the Blue Raiders, 18-21 in conference, or 7-8 in conference, 18-21 on the season. A very similar record to where the Tops are standing right now. But don't let that put you astray, because they gave Liberty their first CUSA loss just last week. And you've got to look out for girls like Ansley Blevins. She has a .656 slugging percentage with 11 home runs. So when she hits the ball hard, and she gets extra bases.
Yeah, this MTSU team is very efficient. I mean, you saw it on the screen, 45 home runs. That's the second most in Conference USA this season. Don't let that 18-21 record fool you. They are a very, very good team. And for MTSU, they have just been able to get into a rhythm. They're better than they were last year. And part of the reason that they're better this year than they were last year is highlighting by one of the players that I do want to highlight on here, and that is Jana Want, who has just been so efficient at the plate this year. She's batting .376, 41 hits, 32 RBIs. But I think the most important stat that I want to highlight, 28 walks, and she is a freshman.
That's right, Tyler.
A freshman doing this.
That is right. Her on-base percentage is off the charts. I mean, almost as many RBIs as walks is unheard of at any level of baseball or softball. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the Tops can prepare for her. But one player that MTSU needs to prepare for is going to be Annie White. Her, along with Macy Masters, they are the only players on this softball squad with an above 400 on-base percentage. She also pairs that with a .284 batting average, so she is very efficient, and she is going to look to get on base as much as possible for the Lady Tops.
And we'll find out in their series against MTSU tonight at 6, but up next, look at how the Hilltopper football team is gearing up for their annual spring game.
Hear about how incoming transfers are finding their place on next season's roster. Stick with us.
Bring it.
I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back to the Extra Point. The Hilltopper Spring Game is under 24 hours away, and we'll get our first look at the 2025 version of WKU football. Tyler, who are some of the new players to look out for on Tyson Helton's team?
Well, let's hit the ground running first with WKU football, and the newest addition is Lavelle Wright, the transfer running back from Austin Peay. Started at UK playing for the Coyotes, but did not get a whole lot of playing time, but he did average 13 yards per carry in limited action, and he was very efficient at Austin Peay last season. 115 rushes for 643 yards. Now I'm not into announcer's jinx, but 0 fumbles. Now, the only hope I'd say is he doesn't fumble at Western Kentucky, because that would be the worst announcer's jinx in the history of mankind. But that goes to show how good of a running back Lavelle Wright is and how he's going to be an important addition to this Hilltopper football team.
That's right. That 5.6 yards per carry average, give him 2 runs and it's a first down. So it's going to be very, very intriguing to see how Coach Helton plugs him into this Topper offense. But another player they have coming in is going to be Dominic Oliver out of San Diego State. He is a 6'3", 250-pound edge rusher. He only totaled 16 total tackles in 8 games this past year, 2.5 tackles for loss. But what he has not had enough experience for on the football team, he makes up with his personality. He's a YouTube vlogger. I have seen some of his videos, and they are definitely worth checking out, Tyler.
That was crazy to think of the last point. I'm like, oh, YouTube vlogger. I'm like, we don't see that very often, but Alec Oliver coming in, he's going to be a really good addition to this Hilltoppers defense. But let's get big on the defensive line, and let's talk about Machiavelli Malatuma from Nevada. He is 6'1", 290, Big Mac truck. He can mow over opposing offensive lines. He was a 3-star recruit out of high school, and he had 25 tackles in his time at Nevada and made 8 starts in 12 games. So it's going to be important for him to be a really, really solid addition to this Hilltopper defense, and I've been impressed with what I have seen from him, and I think that he's going to be a really solid addition. I can't wait to see him Saturday.
Absolutely. Bringing in the Big Mac with all of that experience is going to be integral to get this Tops defense moving. Obviously, missing a few pieces after last season. They were a solid defense compared to years past, but the addition of guys like Malatuamu, that is I think I completely butchered that. Adding guys like him is going to radically change this defense in the future.
Well, it's time to get to the final player to look out for on the Hill, and that is wide receiver transfer Matthew Henry from Western Illinois. He was a third-team All-American at the JUCO level, but in 2024, very efficient, 63 catches, over 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns. He has such great efficiency. Like, he had 5 games over 100 yards, 2 games over 200, and he is an excellent deep threat that can catch the deep ball really well.
Absolutely, Tyler. In many, many games, he had the most receiving yards on both teams, 5 games over 100 yards and 2 games over 200 yards. So he is going to be very, very consistent. Obviously, with that deep ball, it'll be great to see how he pairs with Maverick McIver transferring in as well, and to see how he pairs alongside key returning wide receivers Keyshawn Johnson and KD Hutchinson. But moving along after the break, you know what time it is. That's right, Delay of Game returns with some hot topics and even hotter takes.
Eli Thompson and Sean Ackerman join us in the studio to talk about professional basketball as the NBA playoffs near. Up next on The Extra Point.
are so sad? You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think.
You alright? It just feels like it's coming from everywhere. Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to the Extra Point. It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Delay of Game. Just a quick reminder, each contestant will have 40 seconds to argue their points without interruption. After that, gentlemen, gloves are off. Today I'm joined by Sean Ackerman and Eli Thompson. And let's talk some NBA basketball. And first, let's talk about the overall champs who will take home the Larry O'Brien Trophy in June. I'll start with you, Sean.
Well, it's got to be the Boston Celtics. Back-to-back champions, it's happening. They got Joe Mazzulla. He is a psychopath. He is a leader. He will take this team back to the finals, undoubtedly. The Cavs aren't bringing them down. They're the best three-point shooting team ever. Yeah, that's a bold thing to say when you look at the 15-16 Warriors, but they've already surpassed the record for most threes made in the season. They're 33-7 on the road. In a 7-game series, they can go to any place in the country and win at least one game, if not two. That's guaranteed. They have elite guard depth. You look at Jaylen Brown, you got Derek White, you got Drew Holiday, you got Sixth Man of the Year, Peyton Pritchard. This team is elite.
All right, Sean, I'm going to have to cut you off. The luck of the Irish terminology for you, it has to stop there.
I don't know about all that. I think the Celtics did their time, but I think it's time for the new upcoming team to come in the Oklahoma City Thunder. What a phenomenal team all around. The best defensive team in the league, without a doubt. I mean, if you just look at some of their stats, first in steals per game, second in blocks per game, second in points per game, and they shoot 34% from three. And look, stats not even updated. They have 66 wins, dude. Like, they beat anyone in their way, and it's because they're coached by the best coach in the NBA, and that's Mr. Mark. I don't know how to say his last name, I'm gonna be honest, but the Thunder are absolutely insane, and I don't think the Celtics could touch them in a 7-game series. There's no shot.
Yeah, by the way, its pronunciation is Daignault, so there you go.
Got it.
But, gentlemen, who do you got it all? Who do you got?
Right. Mr. Mark is actually not the best coach in the league.
Who do you think it is, Joe Mazzulla?
Yeah, Joe Mazzulla. Yeah, Joe Mazzulla is so good.
He's
brought this team, and he has an excellent roster. I mean, you look at Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Those are all 3 stars alone.
Jaylen Brown's a joke.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown is a joke.
He can take over
any
game.
He's the fakest Finals MVP ever.
Okay, well, he won it for a reason.
No, he didn't.
No,
he's not that
can
good.
You argue that?
I mean, Shea's going to win MVP this year, but he's not half as good as Jokic.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
Okay, Shea's going to win it for what, 15 free throws a game?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, great.
All right, now we're agreeing. We got to restart. But no, I just don't think that the Thunder, I don't think that the Celtics can compete with the Thunder. The Thunder are absolutely
All right,
phenomenal.
the big dog needs to step in and break up the argument. Before we bark at each other and have to pay your hospital bills, let's move on to the next topic. Out in the good old Western Conference, it is stacked this year, I might add. But who is the dark horse that will come out of the Western Conference season? Sean.
Well, it's got to be the Denver Nuggets, and they're really not even a dark horse. They have the best player in the league in Nikola Jokic, a 3-time MVP. They've already won a championship before. He's a bad man. They're a highly experienced team. Michael Porter Jr., Russell Westbrook, 2 X factors. All right, Michael Porter Jr. is a shooter. He can take over a game at least a quarter. And Russ, well, he's just elite. He's always going to bring that energy, and he can still play at the top of his game, especially in the playoffs when it matters most. And who cares that they fired Michael Malone? It doesn't matter. Who cares? They got the best player in the league. You can't coach that level of talent. Anyone can coach.
All right, I'm going to have to stop the gold mining there for you, Sean. Eli.
I got to go with the one and only The Splash Bro. Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors, I mean, this is a team that's done it before. 2022, Curry did it all by himself. He's the best point guard of all time, so it will be fun seeing the best center of all time and the best point guard of all time if these two teams get to meet. However, Steve Kerr has more experience, and this team only got better with Jimmy Butler. They were about at the 7-6 seed whenever Jimmy Butler was on the team. They have moved up to like the 6 or the 5 spot now. This is the dark horse. You have to watch out for the Golden State Warriors. They've been able to do it before. They'll do it again. They're an unbelievable team.
All right.
Tyler liked that. Did you like it?
Go
Did
ahead.
you hear that?
Go
Tyler
ahead.
knows what's up. Tyler
they're
knows
a
what's
good
up.
team, and Steph has the ability to take over any game. But I feel like the Nuggets, they have a lot of talent on this roster, and Jokic is capable of winning a game by himself, as is Steph. But I think Jokic is really capable of carrying a team.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean, but when you just look at what they have and what the Warriors have compared to what the Nuggets have, it's just like you can't compare. I mean, Jamal Murray's not guarding Stephen Curry.
No, but
no one's guarding Stephen Curry.
Russ could. He's got the energy to do it.
Russ is like old.
Yeah, he's old, but he's gonna be in his face all game.
No, Russ is outdated. Russ is good, but
Steph's washed.
Did you just say Steph's outdated?
Steph's washed.
All right.
He's not.
There's no way you just said that.
All right. Like, before we argue who's going to be in the retirement home first, let's get to the final topic of centers. Superman and the Joker. Who is better between Nikola Jokic or Shaquille O'Neal? Sean?
It's got to be Superman. I mean, yeah, I just sat here and talked about Jokic and how good he is, but it's actually Shaq is the best center of all time. He's dominant. He is the most dominant big man ever. Definition of a guaranteed bucket. When he came into the league, he averaged 20 points per game, and he carried that on for 14 straight seasons. That's unheard of. All right, he's by far a better defender in the paint. He averaged about 3 blocks per game for his entire career. He won 3 rings in a row with the Lakers, back to back to back. 4 total, 1-1 with the Heat. Yeah, he played with Kobe. He played with D. Wade, but Shaq was the glue.
No, I think you hit it right on the money when you said he played with Kobe and D. Wade. That's about all he did in his career. He is dominant, but dominance is only one part of what it takes to be the best, and I think Jokic hits the category in every single other. Jokic has 162 career triple-doubles. I think Shaq has like 1 or 2, I don't know, and I think it was with blocks too. So can't pass, and I think passing and shooting is a pivotal part of the league, and I just think that when you look at that one Jokic stat right there that says, first player to be top 3 in PRA, Wilt Chamberlain's not real. I don't care. He did it too, but that guy's not real. Jokic is the first guy to ever do it. I mean, dude goes back to, how do I word this? I'm like tripping over my words. Jokic is the best center of all time, and I don't think you can argue that. He goes back to Serbia to drink beer and is still this dominant. So
yeah, well, here's the thing. I feel like today's game is so much different. Yeah, Jokic is a better offensive player. I will give you that because he can pass the ball like no other big man the league has ever seen. But here's the thing. In Shaq's day and age, defending the paint was so important, and he did that every single day without a doubt.
I don't know. I feel like if you have one guy that's offense and one guy's the defense, you got to look at who is better in their respective category. And Jokic is a way better offensive player than Shaq is defensive player.
All right, let's just put a stop to that right there. Only time will tell. But when we come back, the Masters did tee off yesterday, but one WK player got to see in Augusta in a different way before this year's festivities. Logan Blanford will be in studio to talk about more when we come back.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Do
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive. If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again, then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Welcome back into the Extra Point. It's time for this week's EP exclusive.
That's right, Alec, and reporter Logan Blanford is here in the studio to tell us the story of one of the best golfers in WKU history. Logan?
Thanks, guys. Well, while we are all watching the sights and sounds of Augusta this weekend from our couches, Katie Craig has been there to Augusta. I sat down with WKU's star golfer ahead of next week's Conference USA Championships to learn more about her story. Take a look.
I've played golf my whole life, ever since I could walk. I lived on a golf course in Florida. My parents play golf. My sister plays golf. I'm the only lefty, so I was able to mirror my family. And then I played junior golf starting when I was 5, and from there I just never stopped. I loved it.
Take you back to when you first got the invitation to go play in that tournament. What were the feelings and emotions like? And then being a Georgia native obviously had to have made it that much more special.
Oh yeah, I found out on early parts of January, I was about to go to bed, and I received an email on my phone that a package from Augusta National was coming to my house, and I went up and showed my mom. I was like, oh my gosh, is this like a rejection letter or an acceptance letter? I didn't know. And then when I got home, I was able to open it, and it was I started crying when I saw it. It's just a dream come true. And then representing Georgia meant so much, being the only Georgian there.
First course you got to play was Champions Retreat. What did you think of that course?
I played there about 2 weeks before the event. I knew a member who helped me get out there, so I was able to get a pre-practice round, which was really good. So I settled with my caddy, took so many notes, but the course was fantastic. I mean, those greens looked like velvet out there. It was beautiful, very strategic, very hard.
What did it feel like getting to play Augusta? I mean, it had to be really special.
I think my one word I came out from playing it was just pleasant. Being basically just my group and my caddies and my family following and no other fans, it was so serene and surreal as well. And to just walk down Amen Corner and just look at it from the fairway, which I'd never been able to do before, it was truly magical, and I was able to birdie the par 5s on the back, so that was really fun. And to see all the strategy and all the stuff I've learned from watching the Masters throughout the years and to take it to the course was incredible.
Talk about this year a little bit. What's kind of this season been like? We're winding down here. We have the conference tournament coming up next week. So what's going on within the team atmosphere up to this point, and just how do you think the off-season's been?
Team's been fantastic. We've won 3 out of 5 events, so that's greater than 50%. Our winning streak is really good compared to other colleges, like our win-loss. And I think that just comes from all of our determination and discipline to do well, and on top of each other, making sure we all get better together. And I think that has really accelerated our abilities to go out and win. So
you're a senior, and your time here is getting close to the end. What are some of your favorite memories that you've had here at WKU Golf?
Probably winning conference my sophomore year. I didn't go to conference my first year, so to have that type of comeback, and then from there winning 4 more events, I really never knew it was possible that I could be able to accomplish those things. So that was probably the best memory, and to have my teammates like come hug me and throw water on me, I mean, that's just unforgettable.
So we got the conference tournament next week. It's getting into crunch time now. What are you thinking about the course down there in St. Augustine? What are you looking forward to? And just give us a little bit of preview of the Conference USA tournament.
Yeah, so I don't know too much about the course. I know it's at the Hall of Fame, but it's in Florida. We've been to Florida like 4 times this year already. We've been in that area. I know it's always rainy in Florida, but we just got off of a tournament that's been terrible weather. So I think we're prepared for any condition and any challenge that comes our way. So I think we're all excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah, Alec, I really enjoyed that sit down with Katie Craig. She's had a phenomenal career here. She's going to go play in the Conference USA Championships next week. And to give you a little insight into her athletic mind, we were filming her a little bit on the driving range, and we were worried about messing her up, and she was like, "Well, you can never mess me up. Just go ahead." So that's the type of insight that is really cool about what we get to do.
Well, what a fantastic story. Thank you so much for joining us, Logan. And coming up, Eli and Sean are back on Delay of Game to talk all things transfer portal.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here.
Wait.
What?
I can't drive.
Why?
I'm high. Oh.
Welcome back to the Extra Point. Sean and Eli rejoin us to talk at the desk about the elephant in the room, the NCAA transfer portal in basketball. Eli, who has had the best portal pool so far?
I think it's got to go to UCLA. I think UCLA's addition of Donovan Dent is going to be huge for them. I think he is the leader they need to take them to the Final Four. 20 points per game at New Mexico, shot 40% from 3, and he led this team that was coached by Richard Pitino, a very good coach, past 7-seed Marquette in the first round of the tournament, and then only lost to 2-seed Michigan State by 8 points. I think what this guy was able to do on the Lobos just goes to prove how good he is and how essential he will be for UCLA. He is also very explosive. He is one of the most explosive players in the portal, and in my opinion, he is the best player from this portal, and I think UCLA got a very good player.
Go ahead, Sean.
Well, it's got to be Adrian Woolley and going to Louisville. I mean, Adrian Woolley at Kennesaw State, he was elite as a freshman. He won CUSA Freshman of the Year's first team All-CUSA, meaning he was in the best 5 players of the conference in his first year of college basketball. 18.8 points per game. Pat Kelsey, also at Louisville, is building something special. He's gathering these 5 stars like it's Thanos' rings. Like it's ridiculous. He's five rebounds a game, 3 assists per game. Adrian Woolley, as a freshman, put up these numbers. All right. When he goes to Louisville and he's given the opportunity to once again take over another team, he's going to shine. He has the numbers to do it, and Okay.
No way that made you ruin your whole point. All I said was, and he stops talking.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, it's that simple when you're talking about anything to do with Louisville, I'm going to be honest. I mean, Pat Kelsey's built like a lima bean. I'm not even going to joke. Like, he is not a winner.
We're arguing.
He is not a winner.
Pat Kelsey, if
you
he's
said
a
he's
lima
building
bean or
a
not,
monster. You said he's building a monster because Woolley is not a monster yet, and it's going to take a lot to turn into a monster.
Already is a monster. He put up monstrous numbers in his first year.
I mean, but Donovan Den is better. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, Donovan Den's good, but he's going into his senior season. I think Woolley has much more potential. We've already seen what all we can see from Donovan
Kennesaw State was
Den.
pretty bad, I'm going to be honest. Kennesaw State was pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly. And
I know,
Woolley's
but
out there
look what Denton did on a not as good team too. He took them to the tournament as a 10 seed.
Yeah,
and yes, they have a better coach, Richard
Pitino. Still a
Pitino.
good team.
Yeah.
All right. Enough from the peanut gallery. UCLA, Louisville, two poverty programs. Everybody knows that. Moving along, our next question brings the lens right here to the Hill. What position group do you all think Hank Plona and the Hilltoppers should target in the transfer portal? Eli, I will start with you.
Well, I can tell you right now this one's not going to be much arguing because I think this is a general agreement that Western doesn't need a position. Western needs a Babacar Fai. They need an energizer for this team, and they need someone who's going to be able to put up good numbers down low. If you look at that last stat right there, opponent rebounds per game, Western struggled. They gave up a lot of rebounds from the other team. Western needs a power forward. They need a center type of guy who can really put the work in down low on the block. And add on to that, they could also go get someone who can pass and who can shoot, something that Babacar wasn't really able to do as well, especially on that passing side. I think it's a new thing in college basketball for your center and your big man to be able to kind of run the ball down the floor and to be able to pass, get people open.
That would be your time. Sean, I'll take it to you.
Yeah, I think theoretically a stretch 5 would be the best position that WKU could acquire in the portal. They need someone who can space the floor as a big man and who can rebound and who can block. They need some. After Babacar Fai got injured, WKU collapsed. I would say, like last season, nobody can really argue that it was a disappointment. Yeah, it's a new coach, but there's been a new coach in the program. Steve Lutz took over, and he took the Tots to the March Madness. All I'm saying is Hank Plona, he needs a center. He needs a big man, a true rebounder, someone who can get like 2 blocks a game, someone who can grab the boards, box out, get on the block, get a bucket. It's simple as that.
All right, you two, duke it out.
Hey, there's nothing to duke about here, Fouch. Like we're on agreement.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be so negative, Fouch. Actually, we're going to argue with you.
All right. Come on now. I mean, obviously they need a center, but I feel like it's a lot more important to look at the guard play because when you lose a guy like Don McHenry, that's something that you can't possibly replace.
They need a center.
Why are you making me talk? Why are you making me talk? Because you don't have an argument? Yeah, that's right. They don't have an argument. They don't know what they're talking about. Horrible sports reporters. I know. Now, this next one might be controversial. Eli, what change would you make regarding the rules of the NCAA transfer portal?
I think, despite popular belief, I think that the transfer portal is in a very good spot. I think NIL is very good for college basketball, and I think the transfer portal is very good. There's a lot of restrictions people are throwing out there that I do not think need to be thrown out there, but I do think they need to slow down when that portal date opens. I think it should open at 12:01 a.m., the day directly after the national championship. I think it allows for the coaches to kind of like lock in on their team and not have to multitask. I heard a lot of things about Mark Pope. He said in the mornings during the March Madness he was doing portal calls, and then later they were doing practice and stuff. I think that's terrible. It's like not allowing the coaches to really focus on what they need to focus on, and also lets the players kind of stay locked in.
All right, thank you. You stopped talking before your time was up. Incredible. Go ahead, Sean.
I do think that the NIL is a good thing for college basketball. I think players deserve to be paid. But I think that teams need to incentivize players returning to their team. Because otherwise, each year it's just going to be a new-look team. And I feel like that kind of gets old. You want to be able to root for the same guys year after year. And I think that a way to do that is give players a cut of revenue the longer that they stay. And give players in their NIL deals incentives to stay. So, like, if they stay for another year, they get X amount of money in a bonus. You emphasize building a legacy on campus, emphasize building a team and some sort of togetherness. And I feel like you're going to have more success with lower level schools getting further in March Madness.
Your time is up. Go ahead. You all talk.
I just don't think that lower level schools making it further in March Madness is fun. I hate seeing Cinderella's team in the second weekend.
Who says that? That's like the best part of it.
You want to see a team get killed by 20 points in the Sweet 16 versus see a 2 and a 3 seed play?
You think about teams like Loyola, like 7 years ago when they got to the Final Four. I mean, that was special, and that's something special.
And
I
they
mean,
would
all
do that
one
into
this snooze fest.
I
like,
still
I
think
was
they would
sitting
do
on my
that
couch
today.
falling asleep in the middle of these games.
All right,
that.
all right. I'm going to fall asleep if I have to listen to you all argue one more second. But don't go away because the Extra Point Top 5 Plays of the Week is up next. Find out how Hilltopper Baseball tore the cover off the 4th inning on Tuesday for this week's Jaw Dropper coming up.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
And it's time to wrap up our coverage with an entirely new segment. It's time for EP's Top 5 Plays of the Week. Roll the tape.
Let's head to Kennesaw, Georgia at number 5. Outfielder Caitlin Kemp. Excellent diving catch. Ran as fast as a gazelle and just dove beautifully like a swan. Oh, that was so graceful right
Impressive play right there. Let's see it one more time. In even slower motion. I mean, it looks even better the third time around.
Oh, that's nice.
But moving along, number 4, WKU Tennis had an impressive performance for their senior day. Look at senior Sophia Blanco and Rachel Hermanova. They dominated against Alabama A&M, sweeping singles and doubles. Even after the lightning delay, it took them inside, and it was not a close one.
Headed on down to Nick Dennis Field at number 3, outfielder Carlos Vasquez. It may be his first time playing left field, but no doubt you couldn't tell it was his first time after that web gem catch.
Oh my.
Nice.
Wow, I mean, he might have scratched his arm up a little bit there on the wall, but just a few battle scars for the new left fielder. But in a place he is familiar with, batting at the first position in the lineup. Leading off, Carlos Vasquez hit the first pitch of the game for a homer. He points at the third base coach, says, "I told you so," against Southern Indiana. I mean, what an impressive game for the young man.
Yeah, he has been very impressive, but let's head back to Georgia. No, not for the Masters tournament in Augusta, Georgia. How about Macy Masters hitting home runs on the tennis court? She had 2 of them in the ballgame. She had 5 RBI. She was 3 for 3 on the day as the Tops ended up winning game 2 and took 2 out of 3 in the series against Kennesaw State.
I mean, what an absolute bomb. 2 bombs onto the tennis court for Masters, and she looks like the master of softball. But now, moving along to this week's Jaw Dropper. And baseball had an 11-run 4th inning against the Southern Indiana Screaming Eagles. I mean, 10 RBIs, 7 hits, 3 stolen bases in 1 inning, Tyler.
Yeah, it was impressive. It's something that they haven't done in 15 years. You know the last time they scored 10 more runs in an inning?
Maybe like a year or 2 ago?
Nope. April 2010.
Wow. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for you today on the Extra Point.
We'll take a 23-hour, 6-day break, and as always, it's up and
it's good.